Between 2022 and 2026, entry-level software engineering hiring dropped by 67%. This decline represents a structural shift in how companies build engineering teams. It is not a temporary market correction. The driver is productivity. Frontier models and orchestration tools now allow smaller teams to do significantly more work. In 2025, Salesforce paused new software engineering hires, citing these AI-driven efficiency gains as the primary reason. Senior engineers use AI copilots to handle the mechanical labor of writing unit tests, building CRUD endpoints, and resolving merge conflicts. Today, the latest frontier language models can now execute 80% of traditional entry-level engineering tasks completely instantly. Cutting entry-level roles provides immediate efficiency, but it creates a hollow pocket in the workforce. By stopping the intake of juniors, the industry is hollowing out the talent pool that must eventually provide its senior leadership. Graduates in 2026 face an impossible cycle. Reaching a senior role requires years of experience, but the junior roles designed to provide that experience are disappearing. The labor market has reached an experience paradox. Over 60% of software roles labeled entry-level now demand 3 or more years of prior experience. This has led to the rise of the ghost job, where companies advertise junior positions but fill them exclusively with veteran talent. As a result, Gen Z unemployment in the technology sector is now nearly double the national average. AWS CEO Matt Garman warned that replacing juniors with AI is a strategic error, arguing that short-term savings create a long-term human capital crisis. If the junior developer role is not updated to reflect this new reality, the traditional career ladder will fail. The industry is currently on track for a systemic shortage of senior talent by 2031. To find a path forward, we have to audit what a junior developer actually contributed beyond their job description. Their explicit value was implementation and triage. AI turned these into commodities. A machine scaffolds APIs or traces stack errors faster than any human. But the junior role served 3 invisible, load-bearing functions essential for developing senior judgment. Absorption occurred when juniors passively listened to seniors debate architectural trade-offs, slowly gaining intuition about system design. Failure was a form of pedagogy. Juniors learned what not to do by shipping bugs to production and navigating the operational consequences. Finally, juniors maintained organizational culture by asking the naive questions that forced senior engineers to justify their assumptions. Machines produce syntax, but they cannot absorb architectural intuition, or feel the weight of a production outage, or provide the beginner's mind that keeps a team's thinking sharp. The entry-level skill set has flipped. Reading code is now the primary competency. This requires evaluating architectural intent, checking for proper coupling, and ensuring the system is designed to scale. When a model produces a complete feature in seconds, the junior must immediately evaluate it for security vulnerabilities and design flaws. This is a more difficult role. It places Year 3 cognitive demands on a Day 1 employee. The apprentice now works with an AI model that functions like a colleague with a PhD in every technical domain. While this colleague has encyclopedic technical knowledge, it lacks all contextual and business judgment. The junior's daily loop consists of prompting, iterating on output, diagnosing model failures, and applying constraints to keep the machine on track. The role has transitioned into a position of orchestration. The apprentice now functions as an evaluator, directing machine output to meet human business context. We can no longer rely on informal apprenticeships. Training a conductor requires a structured 18-month curriculum. This compresses the timeline by removing the repetitive labor of writing boilerplate code. The first 6 months focus on system design and data modeling, where apprentices evaluate if machine code fits the architecture. At month 7, training shifts to evidence-based engineering. The central principle is that a machine's fluency is not evidence of its correctness. Apprentices must learn to verify this output empirically, using benchmarks, profiling, and load testing to justify every technical choice. This shift also updates the senior developer's role within the organization. The senior engineer moves from a delegator of tasks to a research supervisor. Their job is to evaluate the apprentice's reasoning and methodology, rather than simply reviewing their code. By offloading mechanical tasks to AI, the entire engineering hierarchy is elevated. The focus moves from rote production to supervised scientific inquiry. The old career ladder is broken. To survive, the industry must redraw the path from graduate to leader. We can continue toward a hollowed-out workforce, or we can build a compounding talent stack through the Conductor model. Apprentices who focus on orchestration and system design reach mid-level competence faster because they are no longer slowed down by syntax busywork. Engineering leadership must commit to funding these explicit apprenticeship programs now. The U.S. Department of Labor has invested over $1 billion in apprenticeship expansion. Software engineering has largely ignored this opportunity for investment. Companies that refuse to invest in training are responsible for the low quality of the talent pool they complain about. To restore the pipeline, leadership must kill deceptive ghost jobs. If a role requires 3 years of experience, it is not an entry-level position. We must also update job specifications to prioritize machine pairing literacy and system evaluation over framework familiarity. Measuring the health of an engineering organization requires tracking the ratio of apprentices to seniors and monitoring time-to-conductor metrics. For CTOs, this is a matter of long-term financial health. When you look at 10-year pipeline value, the return on training an apprentice conductor outpaces the cost of constantly bidding for senior hires. Failing to invest in new talent today guarantees a crippling bidding war for a shrinking pool of senior engineers tomorrow. The traditional junior developer is gone. The companies that invest in the new Conductor architecture today will own the technology leadership market of the next decade.